So we're coming in a little bit late with this Carhartt WIP Spring Summer 2020 collection. If you guys have been following the channel for a couple months, you know I did the Fall Winter 2019 collection. I actually didn't see that they posted this on their Instagram though, but I was on their website looking at their sale, which is currently still live. I think it'll be up for another like 2 weeks. Usually stops like mid-February, I want to say. But I didn't see them post this on their Instagram. I was looking at that and then I saw that they had something about their new Spring Summer collection. I was like, oh dang. So they've actually already started dropping some of the items out of this collection. With that being said, if you guys catch me looking down here, I have my laptop up with the actual lookbook on it. It's not a very convenient way that they post their lookbooks. A lot of places will post where it's just like one big picture and you can kind of scroll through them. These guys, on the other hand, just post like a big page full of all the pictures, and you can click on one of the lookbook pictures and it does kind of like an expanded view of all the pieces that make up that outfit. So first up, we have two vests being showcased. The one on the left has all the utility pockets and everything, and I don't really prefer that one too much because I just like the one on the right so much more. Like, that's the perfect vest for me, in my opinion. Like, I don't like puffer vests. I don't like the utility vests too often. I specifically like the ones where they have that brown canvas. I forget exactly what they call that colorway. And then they have like the little bit darker collar. I think those are probably my favorite vests in existence. Moving on to the shirts, the one on the right you can't really see too much, just looks like a striped shirt. The one on the left obviously has a little bit more going on. Still nothing too crazy, a decent button up I guess, but for the price these button ups are gonna be expensive. I just expanded it, I want to say it was like 118 bucks. So as far as the pants go, they both kind of have this trend of the different color to the contrasted piping or stitching, however you guys want to call it. Especially noticeable on the one on the right because they have kind of like the carpenter stuff going on, and then along the whole outside seam of the pants you can see that white stitching, and I really don't like when people do that, especially with denim. I just think it looks weird. I've said this before, I'm sticking with it. I'm just not a fan of that style. So this outfit on the left is just very basic, I want to say. We don't have like any crazy patterns or anything going on. Looks like just minimalistic Carhartt branding. You got little Carhartt logo on the bucket. Looks like you have it on the chest for the half zip or quarter zip, whatever that is. The hoodie, just a zip up hoodie, and then the shorts just have like some minimalistic stripes. So not a whole lot to be said on that outfit. But then you move to the right and they've actually already released this undershirt, that striped undershirt. It's called the Scotty tee, I want to say. They have like the Scotty long sleeve and the Scotty short sleeve and stuff like that, where it's just kind of like the full ribbing or the like color blocked ribbing, and then same for like the cuffs, you'd have it be the color of the stripe. And then it is actually a pocket tee, and then you got the Carhartt C on it. I really do like these. I really especially like this colorway. I think this colorway is really cool. I think it comes in this kind of like bright orange, and then a bright like neon green almost, or like a lime green, and then a black. I think those are the three colorways I've seen it in, but once again this has already been released. Cool piece. Also looks like he has a camo hat to match the Carhartt sling bag or waist bag, whatever you want to call it. As far as silhouettes go, I think there are a lot better waist bags out there. Once again, we have like some contrast stitching happening on that trucker jacket or whatever jacket they call it. So gonna pass on that. Other than that, like if it was the same color stitching, I'd like it a little bit more. I do like when they use the Carhartt C on stuff, even though that is, you know, like probably the same as just putting like a box logo on it. You can hate on me for that, but I do really like that logo, and I like when they implement it on stuff like that. We got the Camo boys here. On the left we have a camo pullover, which Carhartt WIP has done several times. They've done ones that look almost exactly like this, but then if you look down by the sleeve you do see that Gore-Tex, so it is going to be of a probably better material because it has that Gore-Tex, and it seems like every brand does Gore-Tex pieces, and since it carries that Gore-Tex tag and has higher quality materials, it is going to be expensive. I expanded it, and it's actually like almost $400 just for that pullover. But yeah, not too crazy about that one just because they've done this like several times. Then on the right you have this short sleeve camo button up, and I do not care for this one because if you guys look closely you can see it's like kind of like gridded, or it's got like a bunch of these like stripes underneath the camo or like blended in with the camo. Do not care for that. I think that looks ugly. Talk about the pants, it almost looks like it's kind of like a pile material, where it's kind of like a shorter Sherpa, you know. That being said, the color of those pants and the hat are just out of my league. I would not be able to pull something off like that, or you know, maybe I would, but that's not something that really fits my style. And then the button up is all right. You got like a bunch of different little figures, which is alright, I guess. Nothing really too crazy for me though. So I expanded the outfit on the left, and it looks like these are just a bunch of basic pieces. Like even the flannel, the pocket is just diagonal plaid, which I do not care for. I don't like when they take one plaid pattern and then they'll like shift it for the pocket or any piece of the flannel. I like it when they keep it consistent. Maybe it looks a little bit better. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But then the overshirt as well, there's just nothing really going on. Quality is going to be high, but there's no branding. So it's like, I don't know, I usually like to have like some branding if I'm going to buy a super expensive product. But if you guys are just buying Carhartt WIP for the quality, which, you know, they do have very high quality, then that's you. The jacket on the right is decent. Like I said, I like seeing that Carhartt C on it, and I don't mind that camo pattern, but this actually has a very similar, I want to say they use the same camo pattern for a vest, and I think that vest just looks a lot better than this jacket. Not a lot to be said about the outfit on the left. Super baggy pants, I don't like the fit on those. The jacket is just super plain. Can't really say anything about that jacket. But when you take a look at the undershirt on the right, this reminds me a lot of Palace. They had kind of like a credit card shirt which did the same all over pattern, and then every one was kind of like a play on a credit card, but it'd have, you know, Palace integrated with it, whereas this is kind of like play on CDs that have Carhartt worked into it. So I think this is a cool button up. I think that's neat. So this one's showing off the work jacket, obviously, and on the front you have Carhartt like work in progress, whatever, like established. And then also on the back you kind of got the same thing, just an American flag, work in progress, USA, Detroit, Michigan, all that stuff. And I do like this work jacket. I think this looks very nice. Quality is probably very high on it, and I'm just a fan of like work jacket silhouettes. I think they're very cool. Although I do not yet have one, I think it'd be cool to get one in my collection, and I would like something like this. But the last work jacket I saw Carhartt WIP do was actually like a Great Lakes one, and I was actually raised on a bay in Lake Superior, so that one kind of holds more meaning for me. And then also just I kind of think that design was a little bit more interesting than this one, where it's just, you know, Carhartt USA flag, like Detroit, Michigan. I think that one just had a little bit more going for it, whereas just this is more like plain. But, you know, I guess if you're not from the northern, you know, Great Lakes area, you might not be interested in that piece. So this one is something more generalized, more for you. Cool piece though. And then also in these images you can see they have a bowling shirt, which I think is ugly. I don't like bowling shirts. They just remind me of 2.5 Men, Charlie Sheen. So nah, that's a pass. So this is a pretty cool design, this t-shirt. It reminds me of those things, those like collages or whatever you'd make using words cut out of magazines. That's, you can see on the front they have like a picture of a sun, and then the second half is a Carhartt C, so kind of cool incorporation there. So the long sleeve shirt on the left, I'm not crazy about. I don't really like when brands do that with the stacked square photos on the sleeves. I'd rather they had just like a continuous design, or even just like their brand name on the sleeve. I'd rather that than have these like square blocked photos just stacked. The t-shirt on the right is a decent design. I'm just not super crazy about it because all it is basically just the huge Carhartt logo on the front. As for the actual jacket this guy is wearing, I think it looks super weird. Like the pocket just doesn't really fit in. Like it looks super baggy, so I'm going to pass on that one. I don't know, that pocket makes me uncomfortable. And then for the bag that he's holding, kind of the same story as the previous one I talked about. Just I think there are better silhouettes out there for the price you're going to pay for a Carhartt WIP backpack. This brings us to the last set of images. On the left you have this work in progress t-shirt, and it's kind of hard to tell on here, but I'm sure instead of the stars they probably have like a Carhartt C or something, but not a crazy shirt. Just kind of seems like too 4th of July-y. Then for this vest, I really don't care for this vest. I don't like vests like this. I much prefer like a low collar. Don't like that like tall collar, so I'm out on this one. And then on top of that, just like the color blocking is weird, how they have everything lined. So that wraps up the spring summer Carhartt WIP 2020 collection. What do you guys think of it? Personally, I think it's very weak, especially coming off of the crazy fall winter collection they had. I thought that was really cool. So much corduroy implemented and other cool designs and materials used. I just really liked a lot of the stuff that they had coming out of that season. So to transition into this one, I think this is a pretty weak season as far as the lookbook goes. I do like those striped shirts, which, you know, funny because I'm wearing a striped shirt right now, but those Scotty striped tees are cool. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.